Okay, let's dive right in. If you're still thinking the images on your company blog are just, decoration, you're missing a huge piece of the puzzle. In today's battle for attention, your visual strategy isn't some creative task for an intern, it's a core business decision with major implications for your budget, your brand, and your legal exposure.
And the stakes here, they couldn't be higher. The data is just crystal clear. Articles that include relevant images get a staggering 94% more views than those without. This isn't just a nice-to-have thing, it's a massive lever for engagement and ultimately for revenue.
But here's the really critical question we have to ask ourselves. While the right image can totally supercharge your content, what happens when you make the wrong choice? It's not just an aesthetic mistake, it's a genuine strategic risk.
And this is exactly why visual strategy is now a C-suite concern. It's moved way beyond a simple creative choice and now directly impacts your budget, your brand, and your legal risk.
So, to navigate all this, we really need a framework. Let's call it the strategic triad. It really just boils down to 3 core pillars for sourcing your images. You can license them, you can create them yourself, or you can generate them with AI. And here's the key. A truly mature organization doesn't just pick one. It builds a smart, hybrid strategy that uses all 3.
And to decide which of those pillars to use and when, every single decision has to be weighed against these 4 key business levers. What's the total cost? How does it affect our time to market? How well does it actually align with our brand? And finally, how unique and legally defensible is the asset? And these last 2 are totally linked. Think about it. The more unique an asset is, the stronger your claim to it is, and the safer you are legally.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it lays out all those trade-offs at a glance. You can see right away that what you gain in speed with licensing or AI, you might lose in brand alignment or defensibility. This is kind of our mental model for the rest of this explainer.
All right, let's start with the most common option out there, stock photos. The central question here is a tough one for leadership. When does the convenience of good enough actually start killing your brand?
The business case is pretty obvious, right? Stock photos are incredibly fast and cost-effective. You can have a professional-looking image in just minutes, but the hidden costs? Man, they could be significant. They can dilute your brand by making you look totally generic, and they often scream a lack of authenticity, which can really erode trust with your audience.
This slide captures that danger perfectly. The story of Jennifer Anderson, who was dubbed the Everywhere Girl, is the perfect cautionary tale. Her stock photo was so overused, by Dell, Microsoft, even the US Navy, that it literally became a meme. Any brand that used her image instantly looked generic and unoriginal. That right there is brand dilution in action.
Okay, now let's flip to the complete opposite end of the spectrum, custom visuals. The key here is to stop thinking of them as a cost and start seeing them as an investment with a real ROI. We're talking about calculating the true value of creating assets that your company actually owns. And what's great is that it's a totally scalable strategy. You don't have to jump straight to a $5,000 photo shoot. You can start small with low-cost, high-authenticity originals like annotated screenshots for a tutorial. Then, for your bigger pillar content, maybe you make a professional investment. And to really establish thought leadership, you can turn your own data into a strategic visual asset with charts and infographics. And the payoff for that investment? Oh, it's huge. Companies that use custom visual content can see up to 7 times higher conversion rates. So why is that? It's simple. Authenticity sells. Original images build trust and credibility in a way that generic stock photos just can't touch.
So this is the crucial point for any executive, the big reframe. A stock photo is an operational expense, an OpEx. You're just renting it. But a custom visual? That's a capital expense, a CapEx. It's a real balance sheet asset that your company owns and can leverage forever, building value over time.
Now for our third pillar, and it's a big one, AI-generated images. This is the wild new frontier, for sure, but it's also a legal minefield. The real challenge is balancing the incredible speed and scale that AI offers against these completely new and unprecedented legal risks.
The risks really fall into a few key buckets. First, there's the uncanny valley. You know that unsettling feeling you get when an image looks almost human, but something is just off? That can destroy trust in an instant. More importantly, there's massive copyright uncertainty. And maybe the biggest ticking time bomb of all is the risk of infringement claims based on the copyrighted data a lot of these models were trained on.
What this all means is that your choice of an AI tool is no longer just a creative decision. It's a risk management decision, plain and simple. As this table shows, while most platforms give you the rights to the images, they don't protect you from lawsuits. The real standout here is Adobe Firefly, which was trained on licensed content and is the only one offering enterprise customers IP indemnification. For a business, that peace of mind, that's its key differentiator.
So now we understand our three options, but simply knowing them isn't enough, right? The real challenge is operational. How do you move from chaos to control and build a truly scalable system for your entire visual strategy?
And trust me, if you don't have a system, the symptoms are probably painful and all too familiar. Your brand looks inconsistent across different channels, your team wastes time relicensing photos they already have, images aren't optimized so they're slowing your site down, and you've got a compliance nightmare on your hands, with no real way to track where all your images even came from.
The solution here isn't another single-purpose tool. It's a fundamental shift in how you operate. You need a centralized content platform that can serve as a single command center for your entire visual strategy, from creation and legal clearance all the way to optimization and deployment.
And that system has to enforce technical best practices. This is basically the non-negotiable checklist for your team. Every image needs a descriptive file name and meaningful alt text. That helps with both accessibility and SEO rankings. We need to be using next-gen file formats like WebP to keep quality high and file size low. And we have to have aggressive compression and lazy loading to make sure your pages load lightning fast because every single millisecond counts when it comes to conversions.
Which brings us to the final crucial question you really need to ask yourself. When you look at how your company handles images, from sourcing all the way to deployment, is it just another line item expense on a spreadsheet? Or have you built a scalable, legally defensible system that turns your visual strategy into a powerful, value-creating engine for growth? The answer will define your brand's future.